Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Spurs Up Show, the best Gamecocks podcast on the internet. Today is Monday, August the 23rd, 2021. Today's show, we continue along with the 2021 Position Unit Preview Series, guys. On today's show, we're breaking down the Gamecocks defensive line heading in the 2021 football season, guys. Before we look at this year, I'll look back at how the defensive line fared a season ago. Also, we'll meet the defensive linemen, talk most approved, best overall, season will be successful if, and I'll give my overall grade for the Gamecocks pass rushers in the 2021 football season. Also, guys, we've got news and notes, your listener questions, and a fantastic conversation, guys. In case you missed it, Friday, Cox by 90 and I were live from Rita's Seaside, Grille in Folly Beach, South Carolina. We have that conversation for you as Jeff O'Hara of Cox by 90 and I talk Gamecocks football, the season opener against Eastern Illinois, expectations, predictions even as well, guys. Got a packed show here on a Monday, and it's all brought to you by our friends over at Upstate Movers Group. Guys, Upstate Movers Group, superior moving service. They bring care and attention the companies can't offer because they're just too busy maintaining trucks and profiting off of them instead of focusing on service. Guys, service is what separates Upstate Movers Group from the competition. They're not a trucking company, they're a moving services company, and they're also employee-owned co-op. Their movers are paid twice the industry average, and everyone on the crew is invested in your success. They have dedicated professional crew members, and they also offer black glove service. They offer end-to-end packing services, custom crating and packaging special items, and cleaning services as well. They're founded by Greenville natives and University of South Carolina alumni, guys, so a Gamecock-owned small business. They also offer 20 years of project management moving experience, and they can offer logistics and solutions that traditional moving companies simply do not have the skills for. Guys, whether in the upstate or across the state of South Carolina, if you have any moving needs in 2021, be sure to check out our friends over at Upstate Movers Group. You can find them on social media at Upstate Movers Group. Of course, guys, if you have any other questions, go to their website, upstatemoversgroup.com. That's upstatemoversgroup.com. Be sure to check them out and tell them Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you. Let's get it. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, happy Monday. Hope you're doing well. I'm Chris Phillips, here's the Spurs Up Show. As always, appreciate you guys tuning in. We have got a packed show here on a Monday, and I'm very, very excited, guys. Because, of course, we've been going through, counting down the days as we sit now just 12 days away until kickoff. It's crazy, guys. We're less than 2 weeks away from the start of the Shane Beamer era and the start of the 2021 football season. But as we've been navigating and counting down the days and going through the Position Unit Preview Series, today, on today's show, we start talking about the Gamecocks defense heading in the 2021 football season with the defensive line here on today's show on this Monday, August the 23rd. Again, guys, I am fired up here on a Monday. Again, folks, thank you all so much for tuning in, wherever you may be, whatever you may be doing, wherever this finds you. I hope it finds you well, whether you're on the commute, you're in the office, you're on the job, you got the day off, whatever it might be. Again, folks, thank you so much for tuning in, the continued love and support, guys. And that's really where I want to start this show today. A couple of housekeeping items, guys. We do have some things to talk about before we get rolling. The first thing is this. Just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who came out, who supported, who showed love to Jeff O'Hara of Cox by 90 and I's live show from Rita's Seaside Grille in Folly Beach, South Carolina. Again, guys, for those who actually came out, there were people that drove down from Greenville that came an hour plus 2 hours to come out to the show. I thought we had a fantastic crowd, guys. And I'll tell you this, I loved the setup. Shout out to Rita's, by the way, a phenomenal venue, great food, great drink, great people as well. Shout out to Billy Hall for looking out for Jeff and I. A really, really cool venue, really cool spot. Again, I loved that it was a very intimate setting where we were able to talk to you guys and take questions. And I thought it was a really, really cool thing. And again, that's what it's all about, man. It's all about Gamecocks helping Gamecocks and Gamecocks coming together to support support one another and have banter and have conversation and have fellowship, if you will. So again, guys, thank you all so much for those who came out, also for those who tuned into that live show. And of course, in case you missed it, that's why I wanted to attach it to today's show on the end of this podcast. It was a phenomenal time. Appreciate Jeff O'Hara of Cox by 90 for having me down in Charleston. Everybody I met over the weekend in Charleston, by the way, shout out to you all. What a weekend it was. What a time. What a great time we did have. Probably a little bit too much fun, if you will. But again, thank you all so much, man, that made this weekend, made the live show, made everything about my Charleston trip a very, very, very memorable one. Again, guys, thank you all so much for the love and support. On that note, guys, speaking of my good buddy Jeff O'Hara and Cox by 90, guess what? We're coming at you again. We just keep hitting you guys. The content, like I told you, bleeding out the eyeballs. I'm very proud and excited to announce our kickoff show live from Hall's Chop House. And yes, we are streaming. We are tweeting about it. We are recording. We are doing everything. The night before the Gamecocks open the 2021 football season, Jeff O'Hara of Cox by 90 and I will be live outside of Hall's Chop House. Guys, you might remember just a couple of months ago, we already did this from their venue. Going to be a very similar setup to how Rita's was. We'll be out there 5 to 7, probably a little bit after as well, but we'll have sort of a meet and greet 5 to 6, and then we'll go live 6 to 7. Also might have some guests pop in. You never know who might stop by. But again, guys, very excited and proud to announce our kickoff show for the 2021 football season at Hall's Chop House Friday, September the 3rd, the night before the Gamecocks take on Eastern Illinois. Guys, also really quick wrapping up, very excited and proud to announce, guys, you've probably already seen on social media, but today is a monumental day, folks. Today marks the beginning of the expanded Daily Crow. Guys, in case you missed it, of course, the Daily Crow, Monday through Friday, we've done it noon to 1, and it's crazy. It's almost like a year to the date that we really launched the Daily Crow for the 2020 football season. I am very excited to announce, though, again, in case you missed it, the Daily Crow will now be noon to 2 instead of noon to 1. So again, with the season upcoming, I felt like this was the best move. Really, really excited for the Daily Crow and the future of it, man, and that content. We're going to be having guests on. It's going to be a great thing. The Best Gamecocks daily live show, daily live stream just got even bigger and better and badder. I'm looking forward to it. Going to be a lot of fun. Again, noon to 2 now instead of noon to 1. So find your balls. Tell them you need a longer lunch break, whatever it might be. No, great stuff, though. Again, the expanded Daily Crow, in case you missed it, Monday through Friday, noon to 2. And that'll probably operate, guys, I mean, of course, all the way through football season. I'd imagine probably all the way through basketball and baseball as well. So it's going to be that way for a while. And again, guys, thank you all so much for the love and support, because without your love and support, there's no way a move like that would happen. It wouldn't even cross my mind, right, if the Daily Crow wasn't successful. And again, that's all because of you all and your continued love and support. You guys rocking with the content, engaging, tuning in. Again, thank you all so much. I cannot say it enough. All right, with that being said, guys, let's talk some football. We're continuing along with the 2021 position unit preview series, guys. Today's show, we are breaking down the Gamecocks defensive line. And I told you guys earlier, I'm fired up. You know why? When you're talking about arguably the best position group on your football team, well, you should be excited. And that's exactly what we're talking about today, again, with the Gamecocks defensive line. Before we look at this season, let's look back at 2020, because I think there's going to be some numbers here and some things that stand out to you that you're actually going to be really, really, really surprised about, because everything in the preseason right now going into this season is you know, the defensive line is being praised as they should be, with all the returners and the depth and everything else. But surprisingly to me, the defensive line also struggled. It wasn't just the secondary. It wasn't just the linebackers. The defensive line did not have, outside of a couple individual performances, it didn't really have a great season, to be honest with you. The Gamecocks gave up 195.4 yards per game, rushing 4.9 yards per carry. Guys, that was 13th in the SEC and 95th nationally. Now, you had 14 sacks, and of course, JJ Enigbare with 6 of those in the great season that he had, but I mean, it wasn't a great Gamecocks defensive front in regards to stopping the run. And hey, like we always say, if you're going to win big-time football games, you got to run the football and you got to stop the run. South Carolina did not do a great job at that last year, again, giving up almost 200 yards per game. And folks, you're not going to win many football games going up those type of numbers. So certainly with the people you have returning, they will look to improve on those numbers from a season ago. Speaking of the returners, guys, let's talk Gamecocks defensive linemen. Let's meet the defensive linemen heading into 2021 football season, guys. We'll start with senior Rick Sandage, junior Zach Pickens, redshirt senior Keem Green, redshirt sophomore Will Rogers, freshman TJ Sanders, sophomore Tonka Hemingway, freshman Nick Barrett, redshirt senior MJ Webb, redshirt freshman Alex Huntley, redshirt senior Devontae Davis, redshirt senior Jabari Ellis. And these guys are listed as edge, but of course they're defensive linemen. Senior JJ Enigbare, sophomore Jordan Birch, redshirt senior Jordan Strawn, fifth year Aaron Sterling, redshirt sophomore Hot Rod Fitton, redshirt freshman Gilbert Edmond, redshirt sophomore Tyreek Johnson. So again, I think it's like 18 or 19 total players. And again, a very, very, very experienced unit, a deep unit, and a unit in a room, I know we all agree, that has as much talent, if not the most talent, on this Gamecocks 2021 roster. All right, guys, let's talk most approved, best overall. Season will be successful if, and I'll give my overall grade for the Gamecocks defensive line heading in this 2021 football season. Let's start with most approved. Again, there are a lot of known commodities in this position group, if you will. A lot of guys who have played really, really good football for you, and a lot of guys who are going to flash this year and I think going to have a lot of success. But I'll tell you this, and listen, stars don't mean everything, right? They don't mean everything. You know, we've seen it at South Carolina. Some of the best to ever do it. I'd say most of the best players to ever come through South Carolina were 3 stars, maybe guys who were overlooked in recruiting or were not thought of as, you know, quote unquote, highly regarded prospects, if you will, that turned out to be fantastic players, legendary players. Again, some of the best that have ever worn the garnet and black. So again, recruiting doesn't mean everything. The stars, I should say, don't mean everything. But at South Carolina, guys, when you get a 5-star, right, you simply right now, the reality of your program is you do not get enough 5 stars to miss, right? You don't get enough 5 stars to miss. And for those guys to not pan out and for those guys to not be contributors at least. And a guy that I look at in this room that I think has as much potential as anyone on this football team. I think he could be a first-round type of guy. I think he is a first-round type of talent. And someone that is a true freshman a season ago, you know, I don't really feel like we saw anything great out of him. Again, you can blame the scheme. You can blame the coaching. You can blame the fact that he was a true freshman. So it's hard to put a lot on him. But the guy to me that I think, you know, you talk about this room and, hey, we could talk about what will make a successful season for these guys, and we're going to in just a second. But I think one of the things, if this defensive line truly wants to be as good as advertised, right, and that they want to take that next step, if you will, a guy like Jordan Birch, to me, has to take that next step individually. Jordan Birch has got to play like the 5-star you recruited him to be. And again, I know that's putting a lot of pressure on him, but Birch is a guy, the upside, the talent, the ceiling, it is through the roof, right? It's through the roof how good this kid is, how good he can be, how much talent he has. And like I said, we didn't really see him do anything too crazy a season ago as a true freshman. Can he take that next step? Because again, guys, I know all the love is going to JJ Enigbare and some other guys, deservedly so, but Jordan Birch might actually be the most talented player in this room. Again, guys, I got a good buddy that works at Georgia, and Georgia wanted Jordan Birch very, very badly. And he told me, he's like, Chris, if this kid's not a first-round draft pick, you guys messed up. Like, that's how much talent Jordan Birch has. So again, with those type of expectations and those type of goals for a kid, that means there's a lot to prove for you. And again, that's why Jordan Birch, to me, has the most to prove amongst the Gamecocks defensive linemen heading in this 2021 football season. All right, let's talk best overall for South Carolina's defensive line, their pass rushers heading into this season. And guys, I'm going to spare you the dramatics because I don't think this one is a shock at all. Obviously, when South Carolina got the news that he was returning to school, a major boost for the Gamecocks. Of course, guys, I'm talking about edge rusher, a nightmare for opposing offenses, a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks, JJ Enigbare. And again, a guy we're seeing on every single preseason all-conference list. I think he was named, first or second team preseason all-SEC. A guy that just has a motor, plays with an attitude off the edge, gets after the quarterback. He has a knack for finding the quarterback and making big plays. And again, a guy that I feel like has been making plays for a while for Salkin. And again, I thought going into last year, we knew he was a pretty good player. But again, this was a guy that took that next step and became a real playmaker and a threat for Salkin. Again, guys, 6 sacks a season ago in a 10-game All-SEC season. That is getting the job done. So again, for me, guys, best overall, it's no secret. And the leader of this room, in my opinion, JJ Enagbare. All right, let's talk season will be successful if. What will spell a successful season for the Gamecocks defensive front in this 2021 football season? And again, guys, we're in the honeymoon phase right now, right? And it's, it's best shape of your life season. And we're hearing this report and that report. And this is happening in fall camp and that's happening in fall camp. And of course, hope springs eternal in the offseason, preseason, however you want to label it, right? So again, when you're in this preseason and, we all have our hopes and dreams and aspirations of what Gamecocks football is going to do this year. Certainly, the Gamecocks defensive line has been at the center of a lot of that talk, that chatter. How good are they going to be? Is it one of the best defensive lines in the entire conference? Of course, Jimmy Lindsay, your new defensive line coach, Clayton White in the 4-2-5. How good will the defensive front be this season? And again, guys, that's where it really starts for me. The season will be successful for the Gamecocks defensive line in this 2021 football season if they just live up to the hype, because there's so much hype around them. I mean, this is a position unit that really, when we talked defense about a month ago, this is a position unit that just has to. They have to live up to the hype, guys, because again, we know the battle you are facing in the secondary. We understand the reality at the linebacker position. The defensive line, it is a plus. Again, it's arguably the best room, the best overall position unit, at least with the skill players on your football team. So again, if they live up to the hype, right? I mean, you talk about the names. Again, I mentioned them earlier, but guys like JJ Enagbare and Zach Pickens and Jordan Birch and Tonka Hemingway and Rick Sandage and some of your other pass rushers as well. Again, you just keep going down the list. Jordan Strawn, the Georgia State transfer that you had that led college football, not just his conference, led all of college football in sacks. If they can just live up to the hype, because there's so much hype around them, it will be a successful year, not only for this position group, but I think for the Gamecocks defense as well. So again, for me, the 2021 football season will be successful for the Gamecocks defensive front if they simply just live up to the hype. All right, with that being said, guys, let's close it out, get into overall grade for the Gamecocks defensive line in this 2021 football season. Like I said, guys, I was actually really surprised looking back at last year's stats and just, call it for what it is, how bad they were. I was really, really surprised. I'd kind of forgotten that South kind of struggled so mightily in stopping the run. And again, you've heard Shane Beamer talk about it. I've talked about it. If you're going to win football games, you have to be able to run the football and stop the run. Obviously, Shane Beamer is very giddy. He's very high on his defensive line. Talking to SEC media days, if you're solid on both lines of scrimmage and you're plus in the kicking game, you have a chance to win. Well, certainly South Carolina has that right now with the guys that I mentioned that you have back on this year's team, and you're leaning on that defensive line to really set the tone for you week in, week out on the defensive side, in a defense that's going to be figuring things out as we get through and we go through this season, if you will. But for me, like I said, guys, is it the best defensive line in the conference? I think some guys have to step up and emerge, and I think there's certain things that have to be figured out. And I think that, there still are some question marks here and there in regards to the run game, and can you stop the run? Again, you're not going to win many games, guys, giving up 195 yards per game rushing, 4.9 yards per carry. You're simply not. But we do know you've got hella athletes. You've got great athletes on the edge, especially I think the experience on the inside with guys like Jabari Ellis, Rick Sandage. I know he's going to be hurt at the beginning of the season, but I think he's a good player. Tonka Hemingway is a guy that I think nobody talks about enough. Keem Green's another guy that I think will play for you a lot. And again, the list of these guys goes on. Zach Pickens, of course, and the list goes on and on and on. I love the depth. I'm not ready to say they're the best defensive line in the conference, but they're one of the best, and I think they will wreak havoc on opposing offenses this season. And again, it's going to be on them for this Gamecocks defense to have success, to have a surprise year, if you will. It all starts on the line of scrimmage for this Gamecocks defensive line. And again, guys, with that being said, I love the depth. I love the athleticism. I love the players you have up there. Give me an A for the overall grade for the Gamecocks defensive front. Like I said, guys, I'm not going to sit here and say it's the best defensive line in the conference. There's some pretty damn good defensive linemen and defensive lines as a whole in this conference, but it is one of the best. And like I said, guys, you could really argue it's maybe the best position unit that South Carolina has to offer on this football team. So again, you love where you're starting offensively, defensively, with the depth at the line of scrimmage. And again, for that reason, I give this defensive front an A. I think it truly is a plus unit for you. Again, you're going to be leaning on them week in, week out. And I think you're going to see this defensive front. I think JJ Nibari, guys, if he has another big year, which I expect him to, I think he could be a first round, probably second round guy. Real talent up front. So again, give me an A for the Gamecocks defensive line heading into the 2021 football season. So, guys, with that being said, that's going to wrap it up for the defensive line. We will talk linebackers on the Thursday show as again, we continue to count down the days till kickoff, just 12 days right now. And again, guys, as we count down the days, we'll continue the position at preview series and everything else. So, again, appreciate y'all tuning in and rocking with that. Let's get into news and notes, guys, and we'll get your listener questions and our conversation. Cox by 90 and I from Rita's Seaside Grille in Folly Beach, South Carolina from Friday. News and notes. One quick thing really quickly that I did want to highlight. The Hall of Fame class for the 2021 year was announced, and my goodness, is it a star-studded lineup for the Gamecocks Hall of Fame class this year. You've got Dr. Mike McGee, Nancy Wilson, Kim Hudson-Williams, Ron Willis, Brantley Southers, and oh, by the way, these people, John Abraham, Connor Shaw, Mike Durham, my bad, Michael Roth, and Scotty Ward. Again, guys, any Hall of Fame class you have with Roth, Shaw, and Abraham, yeah, that's pretty damn solid. So again, how about that? Congrats. Let's give them a little round of applause here on Monday. Congratulations to all of the Hall of Fame inductees. And again, certainly all very well deserving. And I tell you what, I don't know which game specifically it is going to be that South Carolina is going to honor them, but my goodness, that is going to be a sold out and a packed Willie B to honor, again, some of the best that have ever put on the Garnet and Black. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get your listener questions here. We've got just a few. Krusty Andy says, D-line Thunderdome, who is the alpha? Great question. Let's look at the measurables here. And again, appreciate Krusty Andy, by the way, and everybody else who tuned in. We did a little Instagram live Saturday night, and I was bringing you guys on and asking you questions about the season and stuff like that. So again, appreciate y'all rocking with that. And like I said, it was one hell of a weekend. That's for damn sure. Let's see, your biggest guy. I'll tell you who's a big dude, man. Nick Barrett, to be a true freshman, 6'3", 312 pounds. Man, Jordan Birch, 6'6", 268. That is a monster, dude. I would probably go, I don't know, man. I'm going to go Jabari Ellis. That's a scary-looking dude, man. 6'3", 278, but I think what he lacks in size, he makes up for with toughness and determination, and a guy that, yeah, he's going to give you hell. So, again, I'll actually go Jabari Ellis for the defensive lineman Thunderdome. Great question. Krusty Andy always coming up in the clutch with these questions. Krusty Andy says, okay, serious question. How many sacks does JJ get this year? You know, and I was thinking about this earlier, man. I'll be very intrigued and interested to see, do teams change up the way, like, you know, I'm not saying JJ Nibari is Jadeveon Clowney. I'm not putting him in that conversation, but do we start to see offenses highlight him and put two guys on him? Is JJ Nibari sort of do offenses try to take him away? And if they do, who's going to take advantage of being in a one-on-one matchup? Do the numbers go up or down from last year? I think they'll actually stay pretty consistent. I think he'll be around that 6 or 7 sack number. I know you're playing more games this year, but again, I think you have other guys that are going to have big seasons for you, but I fully expect JJ Nibari. Will he hit double digits? I think that's kind of asking a lot because, again, there's so many other guys on this defensive front that I think are going to get their fair share as well. But, I'd say 6 or 7. Again, it's going to be a really fun game of, I'll meet you at the quarterback. Going to be a lot of fun for us to watch. That is for sure. Last question. Creek61 says, I know Georgia will be highly favored to beat us, but do you see it being a competitive game? Maybe early on. I don't think, just call it what it is. Again, I don't think South Carolina's on that level. I don't think South Carolina has the depth to go toe-to-toe with Georgia for 4 quarters. Again, weird things happen in the South Carolina Georgia series. Obviously, we've seen that. Obviously, we all remember 2019 and what happened. I don't think that's one you go into realistically as you're saying, we've got a real chance to win. I think Georgia's probably going to be a 24 and a half point favorite. And again, that's not to say that South Carolina can't surprise. We all know very well the history of the South Carolina Georgia series. I just don't think the Gamecocks, though, from a roster standpoint, man, I don't think they're there right now. And I'll tell you this, I think Georgia is legit. I think they're for real. I've got them as my SEC champion pick and my national champion pick for a reason. I think the Dogs are absolutely loaded. I'll tell you this, I hate the matchup in the secondary. I think Georgia, I know they've lost some guys to injury, but Georgia's a football team that's going to throw the football. They're going to push it. They're going to try to throw it downfield. And so South Carolina's defensive line is going to need to play their tails off. And your secondary is going to really, really, really be tested. So, again, it'll be a great opportunity for South Carolina to show sort of where it is, just how far away are they? I think we'll get an idea of okay, this is sort of the starting point from the rebuilding process, if you will. But no, I think I picked that one going in the season as like a 24-point loss or something like that. And that's probably what I'll be around. I mean, I hate to say it, but I just think Georgia, I think they're for real. I think they're legit. And I just don't think South Carolina's really got the horses right now to go toe to toe with them for 4 quarters. I just don't think so. So again, appreciate the question though, man. Thank you so much. Again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in, guys. Like I said earlier, appreciate everyone that came out to Rita, Seaside, Grille, and Folly Beach, man, that watched the show, that continues to rock with the content, rock with everything we do. Again, I'm really excited about this Hall show Friday, September the 3rd, kickoff show with my guy, Jeff O'Hara of Cox by 90. I'll tell you this, man, Jeff does a phenomenal job, by the way, with Cox by 90. I highly, highly suggest you listen after you listen to the Spurs Up show, of course. No, Jeff does an incredible job, though, and I made sure I told him that, and I want to make sure you guys tell him that. I mean, Jeff does a hell of a job, and I really enjoy our friendship. I'm proud to call him a friend. I appreciate his friendship, and I really enjoy our conversations together, and of course talking ball. And again, I thought Friday night was just a really, really fun, laid back, conversational. We took people's questions from the crowd. So again, thank you to all of you who came out, who tuned in. And now, again, if you didn't have the opportunity, you can listen to the show because again, that's the conversation that is upcoming on today's podcast. So again, folks, thank you all so much. Like I said, don't forget, we'll be promoting it on social media Friday, September the 3rd, kickoff show with my guy, Jeff O'Hara, Cox by 90 at Hall's Chop House, right across the street from the State House, right in downtown Columbia. Guys, going to be one hell of a time. Again, guys, appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you so much for the love and support. And now enjoy this conversation with Jeff O'Hara of Cox by 90 live from Rita's Seaside Grille in Folly Beach, South Carolina.
All right, we're live. Let's go.
Here we go. How's everybody doing today on this beautiful Friday afternoon? Look at this. We got the chat going in too.
Tune in live. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. We're live digitally. We're live out at Rita's Seaside Grille. Give it up for Rita's.
Hey!
How about a venue? What a venue this is. Rita's. Jeff O'Hara, Cox by 90. I'm Chris Philp, the Spurs Up Show. Appreciate you all tuning in. We're talking a little Gamecocks football, 15 days away, just a little over 2 weeks to kick off. Jeff, I'm excited, man. Appreciate you having us out, obviously.
Let's get it.
People who know people. It's a good thing to know people who know people. But either way, no, appreciate you, man. Looking forward to this. Obviously, the last time we were live together, it was baseball season. Now we're about to say we're about to kick it off, man. So
let's think about that. First off, I want to say thank you to Rita's. Thank you to Billy Hall. Thank you to the Hall's family. This is incredible setting. Thank you to all of my friends, new friends, and Gamecock fans.
Here's
for coming
your friends.
out here.
How about his friends?
Yeah.
Jeff's friend.
Hey. But literally, the new friends, I love it. Between Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, social media, the interactions you make with people that you thought you'd never meet, maybe bypassing them at Williams-Brice Stadium saying, go Cox, you kind of get to actually talk to them. I've loved this past hour getting to speak to you too. So thank you all for coming out. Again, the last time we were together outside of Hall's Chop House, Columbia State House in the backdrop, it was beautiful. And we were hoping for a regional win against baseball.
Well, we got it game 1. We just didn't get it the rest of the way.
We didn't get it the rest of the way.
Didn't.
That was
not enough screwballs.
That was the biggest. So we did it, Thursday night? That Friday game was at noon.
Virginia game beat them 3-2. And ODU Saturday night, you lose that one, and then Virginia again, they get you in the rematch.
But the biggest thing was it was the party between that noon win and then the 7 o'clock Saturday game. That
was a blur for me. So I mean, I don't remember. No,
well,
it was fun.
We're bringing those tailgates back though this fall. I tell you, that's something we're excited about too. More collaboration too. It's Williams-Brice is going to be an exciting, electric atmosphere with 80,000 screaming Cock fans.
Yeah.
So
and
we can't wait for that.
I'll say this too, man. It's great to see Gamecocks come together. Obviously, when you have perspective on the last year and a half, and the madness and the craziness that was, and at this point last year, I'll tell you from myself personally as a business owner and just as a sports fan, but we had no idea whether football would even be a thing, what it would look like, the future of life itself. And so to be out here with all you beautiful people at this fine establishment, a beautiful place, one of my favorite places ever, Folly Beach, it's incredible, man. So I think when you have perspective, it's hard not to be extremely grateful for what we have going on right now, man. It's awesome. And like I said, 15 days, it'll be 80+ thousand screaming Carolina fans on a night game at Williams-Brice under the lights. I mean,
you can't beat it.
I'm ready.
For you all that live in Charleston, this is like a blessing because every afternoon we've had a thunderstorm roll in. It's been like absolutely horrific, and I don't know. Maybe somebody's shining on us today. Maybe somebody wants.
What did old Spurrier? What did Spurrier used to say? God
shining on the Gamecocks. I tell you that. That was after that Georgia win. I want to say he was saying that too. Yeah. So, all right. Hey, talking about football, getting everything kick-started. So last night, Beamer had his first call-in show at Backstreets, one of me and my girlfriend's favorite spots to go to. Thank you for coming out, Cam. I appreciate you. But Chris was there live, so I wanted Chris to talk about the feeling surrounding Columbia, Backstreets. What was that like last night?
It's funny. I had a guy tweet at me that I don't know who it was, just some troll or something or whatever. He was saying like, oh, it sounded pitiful on radio. It wasn't very loud. And dude, it was slammed. It was slam packed. I mean, you could not find a place to sit. I mean, I thought Beamer did a great job. I mean, kind of the normal, what you'd expect out of him at this point in the preseason, just kind of giving the normal, not pre-canned answers, but sort of the coach speak, if you will. But he's excited. He's fired up, obviously, and you can tell that he's also anxious. His first year being a head coach, and this isn't a normal thing for him. Normally he talked about, he's coaching his position, if you will, and now he's managing the entire football team. But I thought it was a great night, man. There were a ton of Gamecocks out there. I was sitting across from old Mike Yuva himself. Shout out to Mike Yuva. Was with Kirk Hollingsworth, Gamecock legend, 334 straight games for him. Shout out to those guys. Had my guys
and tweet about it.
Yeah,
we all know.
We all do. Had my guy Zach with me. He was sitting right there in the fire Ozzy Albies jersey. Yeah. So we were all out there, man. It was a good time. Like I said, I thought Shane did well, and of course, Todd Ellis out there and Liz McMillan, who will do a great job with IMG. But, I mean, you could feel, we get to the point now, man, as soon as you hit August, but certainly you get that first call-in show, you can just feel the energy, and you can really cut the tension with a knife. And, again, I told you, like, kind of jokingly, and I've said this many times on my show, but jokingly, we're to the point now, the preseason, it's like you're just so ready to spot the damn football because this football team, and I know we're going to get into it, has questions, and many teams across the country do. The only way those questions will be answered is once you hit the field, right? There's only so many ways you can dissect and project things and predictions. It's like, all right, let's see what you got now. So I thought Shane did a great job. He was fired up as always. I mean, Shane Beamer's a guy, man, that if we learn anything at this point, he's the same dude every single time. He's energetic. He's happy to be here. He loves being a Gamecock, and I think that's something you'll never see change for him. So.
One thing I'll tell you, too, is I'll probably turn this shirt into a tank top by the end of this damn show. Hey, I can see my face
people
right
hate,
now.
But I feel pretty good right now.
I'm sweating the hell out of it, too. I might be, sporting it by the end of the show. But I'll tell you this. It was tough last year to go to some of those Backstreet call-in shows when you could feel Muschamp on his last leg.
Well, I stopped going after the fire Muschamp. Funny story, and I was telling Kirk that last night. I was like, man, I'm really glad to get to go to these again because I moved to Columbia in August of 19, early August, and I went to the first couple, and then fire Muschamp happened, and I was like, kind of a weird dynamic, maybe sitting 20 yards from the guy that went viral. So didn't get to partake, and it's fun. Dude, I've been listening to Carolina Call since I was, in high school, or me and my grandfather, we'd sit in the garage, and we'd turn on 92.7 Johnston. Shout out to the 803. We'd turn on 92.7, though, tune in, and, listen. So it was, like I said, it was great to be back, and it's not one of those things where you're probably going to learn anything crazy or anything like that, but I was kind of disappointed that we didn't have any calls about the tight end. I was shocked there were no tight end calls. So, but whatever. It was a good time.
All right, let's do this. We got a little shot from the fans. Jesus. Thank you very much. Let's go. Let's go. Cheers.
Cox by 90,
Thank
shake
you.
this place.
Cox by 90, shake Rita's tonight, shake Folly Beach, do whatever you got to do. And while we got this going,
Shake whatever place you're at.
all right, how about this? Quick giveaway. How about y'all? How about that? We'll get the fans going right here. Got a bunch of different cards. First one's going to be
That's some merch to give away.
a little CB90 retro Gamecock hat right there. We'll see who wins. You know, I mean, I'm wishing for all you to win. I wish it could happen, but there's only 2 of them. So
Spoiler, I'm going to win.
first hat, here we go. 2. Haley C.
Hey, Haley C.
All right, Haley, congratulations. You are the brand new, proud owner of this.
Handcrafted,
This is
by the way.
actually the hottest hat on the market. I'm gonna show
Please
people.
don't sleep.
This
on
is
This is
the
a
hottest hat on the
handcrafted
market.
hat. This man
I had to
custom
make 20
designs
of them
these.
last
Yes.
night, so congratulations.
Yes, this man handcrafts these hats. Let
Woo!
him not. Don't let him be humble.
I don't think people got on Twitter last night. I said my fingers hurt. I was hoping for the Happy Gilmore like replies, like now your back's gonna hurt, you know. But
You just picked up landscaping duty.
so.
Oh my God.
Backstreets, I'll be there next Thursday. Hopefully we'll be there next Thursday. But I think the biggest news coming out of this week, Chris, quarterback one,
Here we
Zeb
go.
Nolan,
Oh.
coming out of
Who? Who'd you say?
coming out of the bleachers. He was literally out on the
Right.
proving grounds bleachers.
Yeah.
And now he's in the mix for QB1. I want to get your thoughts on that.
You know, I did not expect at any point this preseason I would wake up and be watching Zeb Nolan film, but that's exactly what I was doing on Wednesday and Thursday. I mean, listen, a guy that started his career at Iowa State.
Yep.
You know, Shane Beamer referenced that he played against Oklahoma, threw for 300 yards. So, you know, you go on YouTube, it's a little easy, quick search. You can find it. I mean, the kid can spin it. I feel like I was saying the same thing about Colin Hill at this time last year, but I know.
Statue.
But the kid can spin it. Be fair. And even Steven Garcia gave him the vote of confidence on Twitter. But you watch that kid who was at North Dakota State in the spring. Yeah, it's. I felt like I was taking loony pills on Wednesday when we were talking about QB1. Anybody who's here that's tuned in the Daily Crow, they can tell you because it's funny. This is the quarterback battle and the quarterback controversy that none of us asked for. Literally a week ago to the date, I was sitting on my show saying, you know what's great? Not having to talk quarterbacks. Even though it's good for content, I don't want to talk quarterbacks. We have our quarterback. I did. I think I did. I did.
Thank you, Chris. Everybody say thank you, Chris.
Sit Dog 9 in the Twitch stream jinxed us, but that's for a whole other conversation. But either way, no, I mean, this is one of those things, man, where, you know, I was sitting there last week again saying, like, I'm so happy we don't have this quarterback controversy. We've got our guy in Luke Doty. He's QB1, whatever. How quickly things can change over the course of a weekend or a course of a couple of days is, you know, Luke Doty gets hurt, and all of a sudden there's this guy wearing number 25 at practice. Who is he? I'll tell you this, though. What started as a bit of a funny story and a footnote, and we're just saying, oh, Zeb Nolan, you know, and Shane Beamer, you got to go with Shane Beamer's word, right? People were asking, hey, what to make of it? Is he the next guy? Shane Beamer said he's there to give depth. I mean, you realistically cannot run fall camp with 3 quarterbacks.
No, you
just can't do it.
That's the issue.
You gotta have reps for your receivers for everybody. When you split up on the field, you can't just, you know, Beamer made the point when they were at Oklahoma, Georgia, they had 6 or 7 quarterbacks at the same time going. But I'll be honest with you, as things develop and we go through the next couple of days, we've gone through the next couple of days, and I think there's actually some real traction to this Zeb Nolan thing, which is crazy to think about. But you look at the quarterbacks on the roster right now, and this is for game 1 because Luke Doty is going to come back, thank God. You got a guy in Colton Gauthier, has never taken a college snap. You got a guy in Jason Brown.
You pronounce that the right way, though. Just did you take Yuba's
listen. We had
Colton.
We had Colton Gauthier on the show last fall,
and he told you how to pronounce.
Yes,
because people have been
of course
saying
I asked him.
They've been throwing out some crazy
I
stuff.
asked him how to pronounce where he's from.
French
What is it? Decula, Georgia? I didn't know how to pronounce that, or I thought it was like Decula. See, I still don't know how to pronounce it. But he also told me his last name. But no, so you got him who's never taken a snap at the college level. You got Jason Brown, who's only played at FCS. And I know people want to look at the spring game. It's the freaking spring game, and give me a rest. So Zeb Nolan is actually the most proven guy. Now, again, though, it feels crazy because we're talking about a guy that wasn't on the roster 2.5 weeks ago.
Justin wants us to talk about the QB rotation. Look at this.
Yeah.
And I hate to cut you off, but I say that.
Fine. Please do.
Zeb Nolan, you'll talk all day.
I'll go.
But that's what I love about Chris. Chris can talk. I can literally give him this mic. He will talk the whole time.
I do it every day. I do it every day.
I'll tell you this with Zeb, though, right? He's a experienced NCAA Division I
Power
quarterback.
Five.
Power Five quarterback.
That's the key.
Who else on our roster outside of Luke Doty, who's hurt, has that experience right now?
Right.
Can anybody answer that?
Yeah.
Nobody. That's zero. It's zero experience. So the idea is you bring a guy in here who has more experience combined at the Power 5 Division I level than our other 3 quarterbacks combined, and you're not giving them the starting quarterback job, but you're giving them reps. Just like you talked about, we've got 20 wide receivers on the team.
Yeah.
You can't throw to 20 wide receivers with 3 quarterbacks.
Dude, when I was doing those position breakdowns, I was like, we have a lot of,
we've got 20. I just counted.
I list them all, right? Like I'm listing the guys that will never see the field. I'm like, we need to show everybody love. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, we got a lot of receivers.
So my thing with the quarterback rotation is, yes, Luke Doty is number 1. Clear cut by Beamer's comments, Satterfield's comments. Luke Doty's quarterback number 1. There was no quarterback battle, but now you got Jason Brown, who's squarely in the mix, comes from St. Francis, doesn't have that Power 5 Division I experience. That's no knock on him, but at the end of the day, when you're playing against SEC competition, East Carolina the second week, and you don't know, potentially Luke Doty will be back before the game. The way it's kind of shaking out.
Beamer said last night at the call-in show he expects Luke to start taking reps before week 1.
But at the point when, again, and Yuva had tweeted this out too, we were thinking the worst. Hey, he was out 6 to 8 weeks, maybe even longer. Yeah. And at that time, you're telling me you're going to take into the season with no quarterback that has Power 5 Division I experience. So you throw a guy like Zeb in there, and hey, I think competition breeds success. Yeah. At the end of the day, you want to have competition. Every coach will tell you this. You want to have competition at every position. There's no doubt about that. Shout out to Keith Allsep, no doubt about that. But at the quarterback position, it's even more so. You have to have that. So I think Zeb brings another guy that has the energy. He wrote the actual playbook.
Yeah.
I read that. He wrote the playbook this past summer.
In the computer, he was, designing the plays.
So he knows every single play. Worst case that can happen, he gives you serviceable backup experience. I think I've seen when somebody gave me a question earlier, they want to get our prediction on QB1 for Eastern Illinois, so I'm going to save that for a little bit later. But I think that covers a little bit of quarterback conversation for now.
I will say this just in closing on the QB conversation. We're having a lot of fun talking about QB1 for week 1 and because of Luke Doty's injury. But I posted a clip about this on social media today, and I'll just keep saying it. Luke Doty is this team's starting quarterback. 100%. Make no mistake. When he is healthy, he is head and shoulders above everyone else on the roster. He is this team's starting quarterback. He is the leader of the football team. The football team has bought into Luke Doty. And I truly believe, and again, I could be proven wrong, but I believe the best version of this offense and the best version of this football team will be with Luke Doty under center. When you look at what the strengths and the weaknesses are of the team in regards to, running the football, 4 or 5 starters back in an offensive line, a wide receiver room that is questionable, probably putting it nicely. You've got some nice tight ends, but I think realistically having a guy, it's so funny, though, to me, is like people clamoring.
I love these comments.
Right,
Chris.
people clamoring. We see them every single day.
These comments are amazing.
People clamoring, though, one way or another for a quarterback position. So funny. Last year, in the season, we're like, we need a guy who's dual threat, who's mobile. Put Luke in. And now we're going into the season. People are saying, we need a guy who can throw it 50 times. Put Jason. I'm like, people don't know what the hell they want. So I really believe, end of the day, hey, we're having fun with the quarterback conversation, but make no mistake, when Luke Doty is healthy, if it is for week 1, he's this best team's quarterback. He's this team's best quarterback.
I agree.
Bottom line.
But I will tell you, I agree with Travis, and I think, John, you just put up something.
Travis.
Dak Joyner. Again, we're in Charleston. Guy played at Fort Dorchester. If you go back 2 years ago, our biggest win under Will Muschamp, I know, don't throw anything, Will Muschamp.
Yeah.
Dak Joyner was the quarterback for the second half of that game. Yeah. And he held us. I don't think we scored any points, but he didn't lose the game.
Right.
In my mind, I agree with the people commenting right now. I think Dak Joyner should get a little chance to see what he can do from a Wildcat perspective. I don't know. Billy Hall, he's walking around here. Me and him were texting the other day. Why not? If you're Shane Beamer and you have an opportunity to do something a little different, right? Because you're the Gamecocks. Why not throw a little Wildcat action out there with Dak Joyner? Yeah.
And it's EIU.
Exactly.
I mean,
why not throw something different? Because guess what? your next two games against East Carolina and Georgia, they've got to prepare for that.
Right.
I remember playing football myself. Anytime somebody threw a wrinkle into it, you had to at least cover it for a section of practice. You couldn't overlook that.
Right.
So I think a little wildcat formation from Dak, which Beamer said he's taking 3% of the reps. I think he could go a long way just putting a couple of plays in there with Eastern Illinois week 1.
Yeah, and I think Dak's a guy that's going to benefit from a new coaching staff. I think he's got an undeniable skill set, whether it's receiver, whether it's in a trick play, whether it's wildcat, whether it's quarterback, however they use him. I think Dak is a guy that's going to benefit. He's got the athleticism to do it. But, I mean, I agree with you. Listen, here's the thing, too. I would, we talk about betting a stake. I'd bet a stake on the fact that more than one quarterback is going to play in week 1.
Yeah,
no
I have
question.
No doubt about that.
More than one guy is going to see snaps. So
I think we're going to be winning so bad we might have 3 quarterbacks playing. I'll tell you that.
I would just say I agree with you that, yeah, it would be very foolish to not put Dak Joyner in some type of packages or just at quarterback for a series, like you said, to make your next couple opponents. I mean, again, EIU, like I said, all due respect to your opponent, but, I mean, this is a team, they should be able to literally hand the football off every play and win by 4 touchdowns. I mean, it's just totally different levels of competition. So, put Dak back there. What do you have to lose? At least get him involved and give ECU and Georgia something to think about.
100%. Yeah. All right, we'll come back to quarterbacks a little later. I have a feeling those are on the questions we got right here. Just to show you all that aren't here live, we've got these beautiful 5 points, little nice postcards with questions on the back that we'll be taking here in a little bit. So, next, who are you most looking forward to this football season? Any position, any side of the ball, who are you most looking forward to?
Can I give you 2 answers, offense and defense?
You can give me 6, Chris. I'll take them all.
I'll keep it simple. Offensively, Jaheim Bell. I think Jaheim Bell is sort of that guy, that Swiss Army knife that you look at the Oklahoma offenses under Lincoln Riley and when Shane Beamer was there, and they kind of have always that H-back and that guy that does a little bit of everything. I mean, we saw Jaheim Bell in the spring game, right, at running
Swiss
back.
Army knife.
He was at running back.
He's a Swiss Army knife.
You saw Jaheim Bell do that, and I think a guy that obviously going to play tight end. I think he'll play running back. I think he'll split out at wide receiver. I mean, there's no limit, I think, to what he can do. His athleticism. He can beat you in a multitude of ways. So offensively, I'd say Jaheim Bell. I think his upside's incredible. Defensively, man, I'm just ready to see Jordan Birch be the guy. I'm ready to see Jordan Birch live up to being this 5-star. Hey, you chose us over Clemson, LSU, Georgia. Show us that. You know what I mean? And I'm not putting it on him last year. I think, again, he's another guy that I think will benefit greatly from being in Clayton White's defensive scheme and Jimmy Lindsey on the defensive line. But, at South Carolina, recruiting, the stars are not everything. But when you get guys like Birch, Pickens, Lloyd, when you get these 5-star guys, you got to make sure they pan out because it's not like you're getting 5 or 6 or 7 of them every single year. So a guy like Birch, I mean, I can tell you, man, again, I think I've told you this before. One of my good buddies, he works on personnel at Georgia, right, at the University of Georgia, really good buddy of mine. He told me, he's like, Chris, we wanted him. He's like, Chris, if he's not a first-round draft pick, y'all messed up because he has that talent. Like, it's there. There's a reason we all wanted him. So I'm looking forward to Birch, man. I think he's going to explode this year. And I think, again, I know Eric Kimry doesn't coach his position, but I think Eric Kimry, being his former high school coach, is going to make sure, he's pointing in the right direction. Again, I know all the attention is going to be on J. Jennings-Barre and Jabari Ellis and, Tonka Hemingway and, Aaron Sterling and other guys inside and your Pat Jordan Strawn. But I think Jordan Birch, man, I think Birch could have a huge year defensively. So those 2 guys to me definitely stand out.
All right. I 100% agree with you.
Who are you 2? Yeah, who is your 1? I don't know. I mean, or your 6?
On offense, I think you have to go Marshawn Lloyd in my mind because at the end of the day, a 2-headed monster with Lloyd and Harris, that could win you football games, potentially more football games than you and I are predicting right now because if you have a stout run game, and I think our offensive line is going to be actually – I always
4
say
or 5
this.
starters
I
back,
always say that I think the offensive line is going to be better than they were last year, and then it's like, I think this year, again, 4 or 5 are starters turning.
Over 80 career starts.
I think between them and then having Harris and Lloyd as your 2 bell cow running backs, you throw Doty in the mix as a running quarterback. I think there's an opportunity to see Marshawn Lloyd put up some big numbers.
And
numbers.
You have a true Thunder, and I hate to use Thunder Lightning because
we know CJ Spiller and old James Davis.
But the nice thing is that you have two backs who can beat you in different ways. It's not like you have two guys that are the exact same. I mean, I know Harris had the home run ability last year, but you think of Harris more as a between the tackles, getting your tough yardage. I mean, Lloyd is more of that scat back, outside the tackle, spin move, juke move, home run guy. So it's like if you have both back there, it's like, all right, you got to pick your poison. You know what I mean? Like, what are we going to do? Are we running in the middle? Are we throwing out in the flat? Are we sending a guy on a wheel? You know what I mean?
Well, this is my thing too, like, Chris. Like, you look at it as you've got Marshawn Lloyd, you've got Kevin Harris. But, man, I'm looking at the running back room right now. Zaquandre White, if you looked at the film and you watched anything that had to do with spring practice.
Hot boy.
That guy ran harder, played harder than anybody else on the team. You want to at least give that guy a couple carries. And I'll tell you this, I do like to feel sorry for people sometimes. I'm a pretty hard ass other times. But Rashad Amos – he doesn't get the credit he deserves. That guy runs really well, and he's fourth on the depth chart. And you throw Juju McDowell in there, who's a true freshman, making plays. We've got literally a bag of riches at the running back position, which I think bodes well when you're looking at a team that might not have enough talent on the outside at wide receiver. You control the game clock with the running backs, which we've got 4 or 5 of them that can do well. And you never know. That could create the opportunity for a Doty to hit a big play and make a guy like Jalen Brooks look a little better than he is with the play action.
Yeah. And why can't you put Marshawn in the slot? Exactly. Why can't you split out Marshawn? Why can't you split out Amos or Zaquandre?
There is no doubt in my mind that we have Harris and Lloyd literally lined up next to each other.
I'm talking to myself into a 9-win season.
No, you don't do that.
I'm kidding.
I could see Lloyd and Harris lined up again right there in the shotgun. Motioning Marshawn out and literally creating just so much havoc for other defenses because at the end of the day, hey, you're having to put a linebacker out on them too. I mean, there's just so many opportunities. And if we have a great 5-man front, you get your 5 best guys against their 5 guys. You get 5 helmet to helmets. Kevin Harris is going. Or same way.
For Marcus Satterfield, the key will just to be make defenses think. Just make them second guess. I just feel like for too long, man, and again, we don't have to talk about the previous regime, but I mean, man, it didn't just feel very predictable. I mean, hey, guess what? We're gonna line up in a shotgun, right? You're gonna be to my right. I'm gonna send this tight end in motion. Here it is. It's a freaking run. I mean, it's just every time. So at least having guys like you said, you send Lloyd out in a motion, all of a sudden it's like Harris is doing. It's like we don't know if they're running it, we don't know if they're throwing it, we don't know if it's an option, we don't know if the quarterback's gonna keep it. So at least giving the unpredictability, at least gives you a chance.
I love it.
At least it gives you a chance.
So how about this? John Gibbs, who's on the live
John
feed
Gibbs
now,
is my dude.
Already talked about my guy for defense, Zach Pickens. This is Zach Pickens' year to make one of the biggest impacts I think that we've seen.
Money year, literally junior year. It's got to be his money year. Got to be his money year.
It's so funny now though, with no year last year.
He's technically a
sophomore.
Right.
But he is a junior.
Third year player, right.
I think Zach Pickens is a guy that comes out this year, man on a mission. He's, I don't want to say guaranteed a starting spot, but he's a starter now.
He's a starter.
At defensive
tackle.
tackle.
He and Jabari Ellis, I'd say, are
and there's literally Pickens is going to thrive in this defensive line system because if you've read – I don't know how much – I mean, obviously you have to listen to the players. You have to trust the players. But there were points in time where our defense last year – the line, I understand you're holding the gap, right? Like I understand football. You hold the gaps. You want your linebackers to make plays. But the idea that you're not going after the quarterback on potential pass plays and holding the offensive line up didn't make sense. And the players said that enough in the press conference to say, wow, that's not the best defensive strategy that I would implement if I was a defensive coordinator. Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm good friends with Kimry, and so are you. And I went on his podcast, was fortunate to do that last year. And again, I don't think he'd mind me saying this. We talked off air after his show last year, and I asked him about Jordan Birch. I mean, he was just like, I don't think they're using him the right way. I think they're making him think too much. I don't think they're just kind of. I like that. I feel like Clayton White's defense with the 4-2-5, they're going to let athletes be athletes. I think that's the big thing. And when you have athletes, especially up front, I mean, again, it's kind of a similar situation on the defense where the skill guys on the outside. That's going to be your big question mark. You're going to have to depend on the line of scrimmage. And Beamer said at SEC Media Days, when you have line of scrimmage offensively, defensively, and then you have the special teams unit, you have a chance and you feel good about your football team. But, that D lineman, they're going to have to ball. That's the key to the entire season for the defense. I think they'll be improved, but how much will they improve? It's all going to come down to the defense, man, and that defensive line. And, again, like you said, just let your athletes be athletes. They're going to mess up. They're going to screw up. They're going to blow an assignment of coverage. And I know my audience doesn't care, and I guess virgin ears cover ears, but my coach in college would tell me, if you're going to fuck up flying. Don't fuck up going 50%.
Yeah.
If you're going to mess up, go 110, man. Like, if you're going to, it's fine. You can mess up, but don't go half speed because it helps nobody at that point, right? So you can make a physical mistake, but it becomes a mental mistake.
I'll put earmuffs on out there if you need to.
My audience, they encourage me to cuss more, so it's fine. It's all good.
So, again, Pickens is my guy. If there was another guy I was looking at, and he's hurt right now, but Cam Smith being CB number one, I need him to step up and literally
he has to
be CB number one, right? Like that at the end of the day will help our defense so much more. You have the defensive line that should be making progress across the board, right? You've got Birch, you've got Pickens, you got Sterling, you got Ellis. Strawn, which we haven't talked – you mentioned him a little bit. Yeah. The guy from I've got a connection who's got some NFL scouts in his ear. Jordan Strawn has a second-round grade right now from one NFL team. A second-round grade. And this guy's not even projected to be in the top 4 or at least a starter right now. So I think that goes to show you the depth that we have along the defensive line. You got to have a guy like Cam Smith step up in the defensive backfield, in the secondary, because if he does, this could be a money year for Cam Smith.
Yeah.
It could be a big money year for Cam Smith. So,
and you think of how highly regarded he was at
5-star, dude.
Yeah,
Rivals or 247 shot him up to a 5-star after his performance
which is shocking,
at the Army All-American game. Because I agree.
Rankings. We don't have to go into that. It's fine.
A Gamecock usually go down. It was that was
poor Oscar Delp if he commits. By the way, Delp wanted. Yeah, but poor. What is it? Was it used at the cock drop?
Oh, the cock drop. It is notoriously known. You got a huge cock drop. You commit to the Gamecocks. The cock drop is coming.
I love that. That's beautiful. Terrible, but beautiful.
How about any freshmen you're looking for? Any guys in particular that you got your eyes on?
How can you not talk about Juju Mcdowell after all of the, and this is, this is not a guy I would have told you at the beginning of fall camp that I was looking for, because honestly, offensively, maybe Omega Blake, maybe, but you haven't heard about him. But man, everybody is talking about Juju McDowell. You've got the numbers. What is his? Okay, 5'9", 177. You know who he kind of reminds me of? He's not this small, but I was looking like a Bryce Sherman. Is he like the Shermanator?
You were about to say Jarvis Giles.
No.
Me and these guys over here saw the Pavlovs way too much.
Why would I compare every player to like one of the biggest I hate to say biggest busts, but come on. Either way. But no, Juju McDowell, everybody's been talking about him. Certainly a guy that, he's been ranting and raving, and Satterfield talked about him and all the players. You have to feel like that means something. Like he'll be involved in some type of way. Defensively, again, the thing is like most of the new guys are transfers. Yeah. So
we don't have that many true freshmen.
Well, it's because obviously Shane Beamer comes in December, and it's not really his class, and you're signing 13 grad transfers. And I'll tell you this: to the kid on the defensive line, Nicholas Barrett, I think. Nick Barrett, I think he's a guy. And again, the only reason you probably won't hear much from him is because he's on a position that is just loaded with talent. So he won't play a ton, but maybe he could be like this year's Tonka Hemingway, where it's I thought Tonka had a very good freshman year. I thought he was very solid.
That's a guy that nobody's talking about, too.
You're so loaded that position, it doesn't matter, right? You don't have to talk about him.
So one more, again, you kind of hit on Nicholas Barrett. If you followed any of my podcasts, I've been talking about this guy literally for over a year and a half since he's committed. The guy is underrated as the day is long. The fact of the matter is, with COVID hitting last year, there were no camps around. It was a great thing for us. This guy goes to camp. He absolutely blows up. I've talked to the coaches. Barrett was our number one guy last year in this recruiting class. He should have been a top 100 guy. He's not. Great defensive tackle. He's going to bring depth. Obviously, the injury with Rick Sandage, it helps that you got a guy coming in like Barrett that can step
if you're gonna have an injury happen, you don't want it to ever happen, but we're a position where you're deep. right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's, it's a luxury when you're that deep.
So I'm going to talk about another defensive lineman too. TJ Sanders. I don't use the word in love, but I think this guy has got mega potential. The way he's got length on the defensive end. If you watch his film, absolutely just sound football player. Literally point of attack, closes. I mean, he does everything the right way. He even tackles well too. It's hard. Defensive linemen usually want to like grab you by your pads and like throw you down literally just like a gorilla, like I'm gonna throw you down. He tackles the right way too. Right. TJ Sanders is a guy you got to keep your eye on. Nicholas Barrett. I'm high on two guys on the defensive line. And again, I don't know if you're going to see their name that much this year because of the fact we've got such a good defensive line rotation. But that helps you when I think we're weak in the secondary, which I wanted to get your thoughts on the secondary.
Yeah, you put it pretty good, weak in the secondary. Listen, at this point, I think you have to call it what it is. And I'd say the same thing about the wide receiver room. And again, starting next week on the podcast, we'll start breaking down the position units with the defense, if you will. But, yeah, I mean, I'll tell you this. You're going to be improved defensively this year. You gave up 36 points per game last year, 260 yards per game through the air with guys like J.C. Horn, Adrian McQuamu, John Dixon, Jamie Robinson, all of them on that defense. So you're going to be improved. The question is, how improved are you going to be? I mean, you look at that secondary. I mean, I think there's some talent in there. Like, I think Cam Smith – I'll tell you this, man. I'll tell you this. After the end of last season, I got a good buddy, and I was able to talk to a guy that's currently on the team right now, and he's in that secondary. And he told me, he's like, Chris, I'm telling you, Cam Smith is the best corner on the team.
Yeah.
He's better than JC. He's better than Izzy. Talking about pure corner, Cam Smith, has that
this
type.
Was last year.
Right, after the season,
wow.
just after the season. He's like, I'm telling you, Cam Smith is the best corner on the football team. So once he gets back healthy, I feel good about Cam Smith. But, it's a very unproven room. And the thing that I hate is this, or that concerns me is this. I think you're starting your guys, they're okay, but your depth, that's what really concerns me. And
it's scary.
I like Jalen Dickerson. Can R.J. Roderick have the best year of his career? Marcellus Dial was a nice.
Wait, who was the NFL mock draft that predicted him 31 to
Walter
Tampa Bay?
Football Camp something.
Walter Camp says that R.J. Roderick is a first-round draft pick. Nothing against him.
Listen, I'm here to here to create content, not judge the person who made their draft. So whatever. Hey, look cool on Instagram. Either way, no, I mean, is R.J. prime for his best year of his career? Carlin
Thomas.
Joey Hunter, O'Donnell Fortune, Dominic Hill. I mean, you start going on the list again. It's a lot like the wide receiver in the sense it's a lot of guys who are going to be the dudes that actually make plays, though.
Yeah.
And so you look at it from the national perspective, and these people are saying, man, they lost JC, they lost Izzy, they're going to be so much worse. Again, I think sheerly from the back, you cannot be any worse.
Dude, Todd, did you just see that?
I know. Todd Smith with the super chat.
Dude, we call that
Todd
out
Smith with the super chat. Thank you, Todd.
Todd just donated $4.99.
Todd said, have a beer on me. Todd.
How about that?
Appreciate Todd Smith with the super chat. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
But no, so
I've never seen that.
No, yeah, realistically, though, the secondary is going to be a deficiency. I mean, it's going to be a work in progress. So at least it's going to be a work in progress, especially the first half of the season. That's why I say, man, the key for the defense is the defensive line living up to the hype. You got to get pressure on the quarterback because, I mean, listen, there aren't many secondaries that can hold up for 4 or 5 seconds, but definitely not South Carolina's. I mean, just call it for what it is.
We've got,
and I'll let you go on the secondary.
I am in no business to single out any players whatsoever because I haven't been to practice yet, and I say yet because I'm hoping to get there here soon. Darius Rush is listed as a
starter.
CB number 1 right now.
Yeah. And I know Darius, he's an awesome dude. Hell of a golfer, by the way.
Literally nothing against Darius, but that's kind of out of the blue.
Right.
And if he had a great offseason and he's shown something that he's never done before, hey, I'm all about that. But that's a little bit scary, right? I think Marcellus Dial, we've heard a lot of big
coming
things
from JUCO,
about him, that he's going to be the cornerback opposite of Cam Smith that'll be starting.
Right.
But, again, nothing against Darius. That just shows me.
Let me put it to you this way.
Woo, Chris.
The secondary that starts the season will probably not be the one that finishes. I mean, I think there's just going to be a lot of shuffling and a lot of we got to find out who our best guys are and you know what I'm saying?
How far are we going to play off the ball? That's what I want to know.
Well,
tell me.
Well, okay, so all Carolina fans, let's play man, let's press, let's do this. You got to have the players to do that. hey, we can want to play press all we want, but if I went and put on a Carolina jersey and we're playing Georgia, I can go play press all I want, but guess what's going to happen? Boom, he's gone, wide open touchdown. So, I mean, I hated watching it too. 10 yards, 15 yards off the ball. And, I mean, I guess what that tells me is you got to go recruit some guys. You know why Bama plays man and they bump? Because they have guys that can do that, and they're playing in the NFL. Everybody in the NFL plays man because they're good enough to do it.
So I'll tell you this. I think the reason why we have to have a man-to-man defense this year, or at least more so than not,
you got to take
is
risks.
that if you're playing off the ball, guess what that's going to do? That eliminates our biggest strength on the defense because your defensive line's not going to get pressure. They're going to literally just hit you with a 5-yard out, literally a slant. They're going to literally dink and dunk you to death.
Right.
Because if you're not playing man, you give that all away.
Right.
And that doesn't let your defensive line attack.
So what's better, live and die by giving up the big play or not, or, and I hate to utter the name, but living by the Muschamp philosophy of eliminate the explosives?
How many?
Right.
Hey, this is a trivia question for everybody. How many points did a Muschamp defense give up last year on average per game?
Clipboard through the air. Here we go.
Yeah.
More.
So you're telling me what you all are telling me right now is that I'd rather live and die by some man coverage and not play 25 yards off the ball and give away free first downs every single dang possession. That's what I'm hearing. So I'm going to let our defensive line play like the animals that they are, play like the creatures that Jimmy Lindsey continues to say they are. I'm going to play man defense with my cornerbacks, and I'm going to let Strawn, Birch, Sterling, Ingabare, if I announce his name wrong, I'm sorry, Pickens up front, go after that quarterback, and they're going to live and eat. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
I agree.
I think we need to give away something. Let's give away something.
Go ahead.
Let's give away something.
For the
people.
Got
one more hat.
For the people.
We got one more hat we're going to give away. Again, I'm not looking.
You give away something, and Zachary, you can get me a beer.
I'm going to let Chris. Hey, Chris, I'm not going to let you look. Let's give away a hat. Come on now. Who's it going to be?
The Muschamp Packers might get in here. Brian Berg.
Brian! Hey!
Brian! Well,
congratulations.
God. Oh, all right, let's redraw.
Yeah. There you go.
You want your winning ticket or not? You want your winning ticket?
Oh, that thing's dang good looking.
Ticket? There you go. Attaboy, Brian. Sorry, Zach. I already gave you enough free shit.
That's a dang good looking hat on you, man.
It is. Very good.
Oh, wow. She heard you going. I love it. Where's he at?
I will say I agree with you, by the way. You got to be aggressive on defense. You have to. You have to. I just – because that's my biggest thing is you're going to be 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. Clayton White will have a decision. It's like, do you sit back and try to help your secondary, or do you send the dogs or send the creatures?
Send the creatures.
I think you have to be – you have – because people are asking, hey, is Shane Beamer going to be an aggressive coach? Is Satterfield White? The answer is we don't know because none of them ever coached in a Power 5 game, and Shane Beamer's never a head coach. But you have to think they're going to lean to the aggressive side.
You have to go watch Western
Especially
Kentucky.
in year one when you feel like, again, you have nothing to lose, right? I mean, you feel that way at least.
We've got somebody that's lost.
Apparently so. I don't know.
All right. Hey, I think it's time to answer some questions that you all provided us. How about that? Would y'all like that? All right, here we go. I'm going to shuffle them up. I'm going to let you pick.
So we're going to go like back
We'll go back and forth. I'll let you go first, and then here we go.
Late one. Late entry.
All right.
Late entry.
All right, here we go. Pick.
So I'm reading it and answering, or is it for you?
Whatever you want to do. How about you read it for me?
Okay. What show is this like again? What show is this like? I feel like there's a TV show like this. I don't know. Maybe I'm just – it is PTI. To hell with those guys. No, I'm kidding. They do a good job. All right, the question is this. All right, so here's the thing. There are 4 questions written on this card.
You pick like 2, and I'll answer 2 of them. And I'll keep it quick.
I
won't do these long-winded answers like Chris. I'll do quick answers. I want to get through these.
Hey, this is like South Carolina media, like when they ask, hey, Shane Beamer, I got a question. They ask like 3 questions. All right.
I can't answer about recruits, though. Shane can't answer about recruits. I can answer
First question's a quick hitter. Number 1, who starts at QB1 September the 4th?
Jason Brown.
Okay. Who starts at QB1 September the 4th? He says Jason Brown. Let's see. Number 2, was the transfer for Ryan Helinski the right decision?
Yes, I don't want to get into too many details about – I don't like talking.
Yes.
Like personal,
Yes.
yeah, I think at the end of the day, I don't think Columbia, South Carolina was the place he needed to be at in 2021.
Last question, it says number 4. Last question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how worried should we be about the secondary? That's a pretty good question.
3.
3.
Yeah.
33.
I think 10 is the high, 1 is the low.
Yeah.
And again, this has become – the fact of the matter is Cam Smith is still in a boot right now, right? At the end of the day, he should be back next week or should be back before game 1. But if we're talking about point in time right now, and you're telling me that Marcellus Dial, again, nothing against him, and Darius Rush, nothing against him, are your 2 starting quarterbacks, I'm worried. I mean, that's
so you're saying 7. Like 10, you're the most worried. 1, you're the least worried.
10, you feel great. 1, you don't feel great.
3. Okay. All right.
Sorry. Backwards. 10, I felt great. 1, I don't feel great.
This
All right,
freaking guy.
All right.
Rookie.
Opposite. Hey, opposites attract. You never know. All right, here we go.
Hit me. Let's go.
I like this. All right. What is your favorite color uniform for home games? Actually, give us your combination. Give us your combination.
So this is all right. I have it planned out too. What
I
would love to see
Somebody, like these posted questions.
No.
You already told Chris what to say.
No, what I would love to see the unis go back to: white, garnet, white base uni at home, white, base uni at what default uni, I should say. White, garnet, white at home, Stormtrooper white on the road. 1984 throwbacks for a random game, and then from there you can have true alternates. But doing this whole like random, just we have no idea. Like, I mean, listen, I guess here's the thing:
so you're telling me you didn't like the videos, huh?
I like the videos, but what I'm saying is, I think you have to choose. Do you want to be more traditional or try to be, or do you want to be Oregon and just go nuts?
Right.
And I know it's about, people say it's about pleasing the players, and I totally get that, bro. Like, whatever they want to wear, cool. But at the same time, it's just, like bring back Big Game Garnet. Like,
right.
Dude, let's just build the tradition around the little bit we have.
Garnet.
Yeah, Big Game Garnet, for the love of God. So, like I said, I don't mind alternates. Like, hey, you want to wear black, garnet, black? You want to wear garnet, black, garnet? You want to wear white, garnet, white, but just don't make it like every other week you're changing. Yeah. Make you have like these standard defaults, and then you have, hey, bring back a 1969 throwback. Bring a George Rogers throwback. But, hey, God forbid, bring a script helmet, which I don't like, but don't wear it every week. The script helmet, terrible. It's awful.
I don't think Philip Harris likes your home uniforms.
Battle Grays, never again. Tail feather helmet. Literally, you can get out of this bar if you think that's a good-looking helmet. Just get out. It's terrible. Get out.
I'm going to throw my little 2 cents on this one, too, because I want to, and
that's
I can.
Not how the game works.
I can.
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Stormtrooper, I agree, away. I would like white helmet, garnet jersey, garnet pants as your
default.
To be your default.
I wouldn't
home
hate
jersey.
that. And
then your big game garnet is when you bring out the garnet helmet.
Question.
Which kind of like sets you up like, when are you going to bring out the garnet helmet? Question. Which is the big game?
Question. Should South Carolina ever wear all black again? See,
hold on.
A lot of people hate it. Some people hate it.
You're telling me if it's 11-0,
Halloween night's fair.
If we're 11-0,
South Carolina, Tennessee, Halloween,
11-0. We're coming into a night game. No big blackout.
Hey, you know why not in that scenario? Because if Carolina loses, people will blame it on the uniforms forever. Forever.
How about we do it against Florida when we're about to play Spurrier if he's coaching again and we go 36-37? And he said that they could catch the ball better because you could see it with the black in the stands. That was like the biggest gut punch I've ever listened to.
Wait, you or me?
Yeah,
you're reading me.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. All right, here we go.
Here's a good one.
Oh.
And I'm not going to read the last part of the question because it's pretty personal. So, for you, I don't think me. Best player from the Steve Spurrier era and why, plus 2 honorable mentions.
All right, Steve Spurrier era. Ugh. I mean, I think I'm going to go sentimental number one because I don't think, like, when you make a grown man cry, I think that's something to be said. I'm not a grown man by any means. I have the youngest, like, mindset out of here. But Marcus Lattimore under Spurrier, in my mind, was, like, picking us over Auburn the way he did it, pulling off the hat, and then just everything that he did his freshman year, right? 40 carries, 200-plus yards against Georgia, beating them, going down to the Swamp 2010. So these guys are my roommates back then. They're here right now.
Shout out to his roommate.
And we
what a time.
When we beat Florida in 2010, I will not tell you what happened outside of the Dreher High School when we jumped over the dang brick fence. I won't tell anybody about what happened there. But what I will tell you is we celebrated our dang tails off. All that being said, Marcus Lattimore, I'll never forget when he first got injured. Oh, it was brutal. And that second injury that happened, I remember going into the Harris Teeter off East Bay Street. I can't remember who was with me. One of my really good friends was with me. And we were wearing Gamecock gear, and there were so many people, so many fans outside of Gamecock Nation that were like, I'm sorry for your loss. And it wasn't like – it felt like you really did lose somebody because the guy's great spirit, everything he brought to the table. And I don't mean to make this somber, but Marcus Lattimore had the potential to set every rushing record. He could have broken George Rogers' records. I personally think.
He has the touchdown record.
And he could have literally reset the record books for everything. And to see a guy go down with one injury and then go down with another, but knowing what he could have done, he was my guy, Spurrier. I got honorable mentions too. You got Clowney under the Spurrier era, which I'll never forget. I was at the Georgia game. I was wearing the Clowney jersey at the time. This is when he threw Aaron Murray down like a rag doll. I was right in the middle of the Georgia section, 50-yard line, 20 rows up. It was great seats. Nothing to talk about that. But the fact of the matter is I was in the heart of Bulldog Nation. We about got in a fight with some older guys. But Jadeveon Clowney, when you can make Georgia Bulldogs feel that way, you're definitely part of my honorable mention. And then last but not least, all right, so that's one offense, one defense. I get two honorable mentions. Quarterback Connor Shaw, 17-0 at home.
Thank God.
We're going with Shaw.
Where's he at?
Come on. I wanted to leave some suspense out there. But those were that Spurrier area, 1, 2, and 3.
Read the question of the bottom?
Oh, wow. We'll save that one.
We'll save that question for another time. Right, so you're asking me.
Here, no, actually, this one's.
We'll take the card then. Take
you want this one?
Yeah,
all right.
Sure.
Ooh. Wow, some Esplanade. We got 10 minutes left. 2 Esplanades. We got a couple questions. I'm liking these questions. Are you all liking these questions? Are y'all feeling good about this? All right. Who is the most underestimated SEC opponent that we play this season?
The most underestimated opponent that we play.
Yeah. You want me to? Do you remember?
I know who we play.
I'm saying.
I'd say for Gamecock fans, it's Kentucky.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think people listen. The Kentucky stigma is still there. Like, oh, it's Kentucky. We should just beat their ass. Like, whatever. It's a kick-in win. And I think it's about 50-50 split now. How Gamecock fans feel on that one, but I still feel the rest of our schedule. Most people look at it and say, well, I could see how that could be a tough game. I could see how that could be a tough game. Kentucky at home, I picked it as a loss. And I felt terrible doing so. But the one team Gamecock fans do not want to give credit to is Kentucky. And is South Carolina a better football program than Kentucky right now? Yes. Do they have better facilities? Yes. Do they have a better coach? Probably in time, I would say yes. Have they recruited better? Yes. But honestly, there's no reason why South Carolina should beat Kentucky. When you look at, they have a 9th-year head coach. They have a roster. I said this last year and got killed for it, but it stands true. Mark Stoops is everything Will Muschamp wasn't. He took talent that wasn't and Muschamp recruited way better. But Mark Stoops has taken classes between 40 and 50. He's developed it. He's built his own culture at Kentucky. They've recruited guys that believe in the system, that believe in Kentucky football, that believe in the message he's preaching. So I don't know if Gamecock fans are underestimating it from the sense of they're just blindly underestimating. They don't want to give Kentucky the credit, but that's the one I'd probably say because I feel like everybody else we're looking at. I'd say this, either that or Tennessee. And hey, I picked South Carolina to beat Tennessee.
Which look what I got right here. I mean, that's I think that's the swing part of the season.
I don't think Tennessee's a good football team at all.
No,
I got them 5-7 this year.
They're trash.
But going on the road to Knoxville, that has been a house of horrors for South Carolina football since the beginning of time, since forever. So to act like that Carolina is just going to kick in a dub against the Vols is insane. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'd say one of those two teams, but probably Kentucky leading because, again, people have that same Vandy stigma with Kentucky, but I hate to say it, but until you start beating Kentucky on a yearly basis again, they've beaten you 6 out of the last 7.
I agree 100%.
So,
you're right.
All
right, here we go.
Oh, yes. Yeah, for you. Yes. Let's do it. I know the question. I know this question because he wrote it.
Well, let's
so I don't want to.
So we've got 7 minutes left.
Jeez. All right, cool.
We get one
Cheers
question.
To,
hey, how about the Cox? Thank you all for coming out here. We got a couple questions left, but I want to cheers.
Yeah.
Let's go. Cox by 90. Let's go, baby. Woo! All right. Last 2 questions. Hit me.
All right, here we go. This comes from our winner right here, by the way, of your hat.
That hat looks pretty good on
it does.
Man. I'm not going to lie.
How well does Gauthier have to play to steal the starting job, or does it even matter?
So, well, I think it was either I was reading on the Big Spur, Gamecock Central, somebody was saying that he's got like a Blake Mitchell, Steven Garcia type, I don't know, like flair to him, but also the way he plays the game. I don't think that there's anything. If I'm looking at this right now, Doty's QB number 1. He should be back before. I think he'll be back that Thursday before the first game. You shouldn't play him there. Eastern Illinois, and I keep saying Illinois, whatever, should be a dang. That should be we should win by 70.
Yeah.
Maybe by 90. Maybe by 90.
Yeah. Cox by 90.
To get back to the point.
Shake the place.
You're sitting Doty out. I think Brown's QB number 2, which is why I say I think he starts game number 1. You throw a Zeb Nolan in here. Zeb, he's probably QB 3 at this point. And then Colton QB 4. I think it's probably the best way for us to – I guess the best way to attack his development is the fact that he doesn't see the field this year. But what he has to do is show command of the actual playbook, which I think is tough for a freshman. It helps that he's coming into a playbook that nobody else knows because it's Satterfield's. Everybody's kind of new to that one. But I think the best way is to not let him see the field this year because we've got Doty performing so well, and then either Brown or Zeb is the backup.
I can see it both ways. I see it as it's almost like an NFL type situation where it's like you don't want to play the rookie too early because if they struggle early, you kill their confidence, right? You just kill their confidence. But at the same time, Zeb Noland is not your future. Jason Brown is not your future. I know Luke Doty is, but why not give Colton Gauthier a look? What if he goes out and has success? I would say this, to your point. He said, does it even matter? No, Colton Gauthier is not taking the starting job this year. He's just not doing it. Luke Doty's this team's quarterback. But I mean, can we not say week 1 is a battle for QB2? That's what it is. So they're all going to play. So I think they all should play. I mean, again, like you said, man, like
we might see. I mean, there might.
I mean, dude, I would say this, like if you're one of our quarterbacks and you can't go out there and have success, and they should just cut you. I mean,
Dak Joyner
should cut you.
Dak Joyner will see the field before Colton does at quarterback.
Right. So I think they'll all have success. I think
that puts it in.
You think so? You think Dak will?
I think Dak would see it before Colton does. That's my perspective.
Well, I mean, I'd like to see them all. I mean, at some point, I'd like to see them all.
The first game against Eastern Illinois, that's when you're going to see them all.
Right. But yeah, no chance. Good question. No chance.
Here we go.
At least you want a hat.
All right, we've got a little bit of time left, and we've got we
can go a couple minutes past 7.
We of course can.
Hey, with the super chat, Phil. Appreciate you, Phil.
Phil, how about that?
Phil is our rugby Rugby aficionado in the Daily Crow for those who are out here to tune in.
I've never seen anything like this. Yeah. They're like, you could donate money for drinks, and I think that's kind of pretty cool. So I've never seen that before. All right, here we go. Absolute best case scenario record wise this year and worst possible scenario. So give me your ceiling and give me your floor.
Realistic, best case, worst case.
Be realistic with us, Chris. Don't lie to us.
I think realistically, I would have said 8-4. I say 7-5 now. Yeah. Realistic best case. Now, if you want to say best case, everything works out how you think. 8-4. I say realistic, 7-5. Realistic worst case, I think you could go 3-9. If, again, that's worst case. I'm not even going to say what would have to happen, but worst case, you could go 3-9. I think, again, the truth lies in the middle, right? So, and I know this was a conversation we're going to get into at some point about, expectations for this year. But, yeah, I mean, it worries me when people start talking about 8 wins. And, again, they start talking about Kentucky and Tennessee and Auburn as these kick-in wins. It's like, this is a football team, a program that has won 6 combined games the last 2 seasons. And Shane Beamer, he might be I think he is a hell of a football coach. He might be Nick Saban, but he's a football coach. He's not a miracle worker. Yeah. He has the roster he has to work with. And so you look at it, I mean, hey, if Luke Doty turns out to be a more than serviceable quarterback, if somebody steps up at wide receiver, the running backs are the running backs, the O-line is a little better than expected. If the D-line balls as you think, the linebackers are plus, the secondary has some guys step up, yes, all those things work out. And I think 7-5 can happen.
Can I read this off right quick?
Go ahead.
Philip Harris just said, put the bong down. And I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, no, Phyllis said that many times.
We are talking about the ceiling. This is not Chris's prediction.
So that's the point I like to make.
But he said put the bong down.
When you say best case scenario, again, best case, hey, if you're in sales, right? All right, look, give me your projections this month. What's your best case?
Yeah.
Well, you better give a number that's way the hell up here. I mean, you're probably not going to hit it, but you should be shooting for it. But it's the best case, right? Don't sell yourself short.
Let's look at best case. You're talking 8-4. All right, we lose to Georgia, A&M,
Clemson,
Florida, and Clemson.
No, 8. Yeah. Okay,
that'd be 4. So that means we beat Auburn, we beat Kentucky, we beat Missouri, which I think are reasonable. 8-4 is a possibility, folks. I'm just. Chris,
I gotta put out fires.
Spurs Up show next week.
We gotta put out fires on Monday. Put out fires.
Chris, I would literally. Everybody's gonna be tweeting out 8-4. Chris Phillips projection.
Yeah, my predictions change. 8-4. You know what? Fuck it. 12-0. Let's go. Why not? Give me one more tequila. We'll go 12-0.
Oh, baby, I love it.
No, I just again I've picked 6-6. I'm firm with that. Luke Doty will be back week 2. I loved Shane Beamer's. His message last weekend of the doom and gloom, and don't be doom and gloom just to be doom and gloom. But hey, realistically, guess what? If you lose QB1 for the season like we thought, the projections of the season do change. Yeah. If Clemson loses, God forbid, to hell with them. But if they lose him, if Georgia loses JT Daniels, the projections of the season change. Yeah. So I would just tell fans, keep perspective, right? Keep perspective. 6-6 is a great year. Making a bowl game is a great year. What worries me about this football team, I'll tell you this, what worries me, I like Luke Doty and his upside. I like the running backs. I like the O-line and the run game right now. I like the D-line. What worries me, just to be totally honest with you about this football team, stars aren't everything, right? Recruiting's not foolproof, and I haven't built my business around talking recruiting and trying to be an analyst or an expert in that.
You've done
but when you are depending on the amount of guys that have never played at the SEC level that come from lower level schools that South Carolina is, it is concerning. I'm not saying that they're not going to be great players.
Yeah.
But for South Carolina to go 8-4, or I think even 7-5, unfortunately, for them to go that well, you're banking on everybody you got from a lower level school is going to be a stud. And the bottom line,
staying healthy,
and the bottom line is this, guys.
And that's not realistic.
I hate to burst everybody's bubble, but you know what? Some of the guys that played at Delaware and St. Francis and Georgia Southern and Assumption, they're going to play like guys that played at Georgia Southern and Assumption and Delaware. Like, when you're
We'll let you leave it at that. I think you've got the message.
6-6 is what I'm locked in. I'm just trying to. Hey, 6-6 will be a great record this year.
And I think that gets you to a bowl game. And guess what? Maybe we go down to Florida and we all get to get a little tan in January. You never know. All right. It's been a great time. I've had a blast. I appreciate you all coming out. I've got one more giveaway I want to do. If you win your size extra large, SOL for you because I'm out of extra large. But I've got a T-shirt I want to give away. CB90. You'll get your pick. White, garnet, long sleeve actually too as well. Let's see who's going to win it. Chris?
I'm locked in for 6-6, by the way.
If you're an XL, just go double XL. Be your nighttime shirt or something.
Flossy.
Hey,
that table just crushed it.
How about
that table killed it. Oh,
you
here.
want
Winning
garnet?
ticket. Winning ticket.
What size are you? Small, medium?
Oh, I'm a small.
Yeah. There you go. I wouldn't say medium just because you never
Love
know.
it.
I mean, you look like a small. I'm telling you. Congratulations.
All right, hold on. Before we get out of here, do you have – come on, you got to have a record prediction at this point. We're 2 weeks out.
A record prediction. Whoa.
How about your best case, worst case?
Best case
Come
for
on.
me, 7-5. Absolute
Okay.
best case scenario. Worst case is 3-9. I think those 3 wins would be Eastern Illinois.
Over, under, 3.5, gun to head. What are you taking?
Over. I think everybody here should bet the over 3.5. 100%.
As Luke Doty said, hammer
If
the over.
you want free money, I think free money as much as it can get is over 3.5. I do think though 7. I just think I'll say this before we close it out. Realistic expectations. We're a 2-8 football team last year. We're a 4-8 team the year before. We've got a brand new coaching staff. You have to have realistic expectations. Don't put the sky on this team, but we can put the clouds on them. I think the clouds are a 7-5. Get to 6-6. Let's go to a bowl game. Let's win the bowl game, and let's carry some momentum in 2022. Let's go, Cox.
Well said.
All right. A couple thank yous to start it out. Thank you to Rita's. Thank you to the Halls family for allowing us to come out here tonight. I appreciate everybody. Literally friends, new friends. I mean, I think it's so cool how social media works. You get to meet people that you've never met before. So it was nice to meet all you. Thank you for coming out. This has been truly a pleasure. And also, thank you to Chris. Came down from Columbia here to make this happen. So thank you, Chris.
Appreciate y'all. Hey, for real. Great time. Appreciate you having us out. Again, Rita's, everybody coming out. Great talking Gamecocks football and 15 days. What's there more to say? Hey, I will say this last thing. Let's wrap our arms around Shane Beamer. It's going to be a process. Let's be patient. Let him build. I think we do that. Good things will happen. On that note,
Hey, actually, one more thing.
What, go ahead.
I'm going to help out Eric Kimry right here.
Yeah, we want Dub.
Help is wanted. We want Dub. Let's go. All right,
want Dub.
shake this
All right.
place. Everybody have a great weekend.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Let's go. Hey, appreciate it. Yeah, hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.